Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's do a complete beginner's guide for XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, shall we? So, first of all, it is worth saying that I'm going to be doing the guide on XCOM 2 with War of the Chosen. It is a completely different experience than just XCOM 2 vanilla. You'll get, if you just have regular XCOM 2 without War of the Chosen, a lot of what I'm saying will still make sense and apply, but many features will not be in your game. The reason I'm doing it on War of the Chosen is because at this point in XCOM 2 and War of the Chosen's life cycle, this is 2023 when I'm making the guide. These have been out for a long time, and they go on sale all the time, and then frequently are sold together. I think I got both of them together for something like $5. So I figure many people have this version of the game, and it adds so much to the base game that it's fantastic. But the problem is, the base game already has its own set of complexities for players who maybe weren't familiar with XCOM, and then War of the Chosen adds even more stuff onto that. So I thought it would be helpful to create a complete beginner's guide if you're a person who has either never played an XCOM before, or maybe you played XCOM 1 but are jumping into 2, or maybe you played the XCOM 2 base game but haven't played War of the Chosen, or maybe you have played them but you just want some more pointers. This is going to be me starting a brand new game from the ground up so that you can play along and understand my thought process as I explain the UI, the combat system, some tips and tricks to survival, the controls of the game, and walk you through building your base, understanding your characters, cover everything about fighting, surviving, upgrading. I'm going to do so, though, in a non-spoilery way. I'm not going to be like, okay, this is the absolute best path to take, this is the fastest route, this is the best party composition possible. None of that. It's going to be more just me talking through things to give you the foundations and the fundamentals so you can make those decisions on your own and enjoy the game at your own pace. This is a fantastic game, but even for me, I came from playing XCOM 1 base game through by itself and then right into this, and I was overwhelmed with War of the Chosen with the sheer amount of options it has and things to do. I've learned the hard way how to not progress in the game in terms of the story and the Chosen to make life worse for yourself, so I want to help you avoid some of the mistakes that I made, and I also want to impart on you the wisdom that I picked up from a lot of people. I streamed this game a ton, I played this game a ton, and got so much advice from people in YouTube comments and during the stream, and I want to share that wisdom as well. Understand that there is not one way to play this game. There is a lot of differences between people on the best way to do things and play style. I'm just going to tell you mine, and it's not perfect, but it helped me enjoy the game a ton, and hopefully I can show you enough of the game so that you can have fun with it. And we're going to just dive in right now on a new game. So when you begin a new game, you have some choices here, which would be, do you want to do Rookie for players new to tactical games or XCOM, Veteran, which is a challenge appropriate for players familiar with XCOM, Commander, or Legend. And I'm going to tell you what, if this is your first time playing this game, pick Veteran or Rookie unless you really, really want to suffer, because I'm going to do the tutorial on Veteran, and I got to tell you, it's hard enough on Veteran. So, try it here first. If you've played the game through before, well, of course, by all means, go ahead and go to Commander or Legend, but I think the game is difficult, so I would just say Veteran. And from here, we're going to turn on the tutorial, because we'll pretend like this is our first time playing the game and use this advice to help us. And reduce beginner voiceover. This will reduce the voiceover directed towards new players. Enable it if you don't want warnings or reminders. And we want warnings and reminders for our first time. And I'm going to show subtitles as well, and let's go. Now for my playthrough, I am including War of the Chosen and the integrated downloadable content DLC, but not the Nest or the Lost Towers DLC. And this will be just kind of what we're starting with for this package. I don't believe I even have these. So let's go.
Accessing the feed now. We're in. But I don't know for how long. You seeing this? Way too much security, even for Advent.
That's no ordinary gene therapy clinic. And we're telling the truth.
Or they're leading us into a trap. A really obvious trap. We'd need an army to march in there right now.
I've got a better idea. Outrider, this is Central. Go.
Timeline you placed upon us, mistakes are bound to happen.
It wasn't our fault. Please.
There's no need for any of this. I will do what you ask of me. I just need additional time.
Did you say something?
You're one of those. You must understand. I had no choice.
Outrider, report.
So, you do exist. Outrider to Avenger, I have visual confirmation.
Are you sure?
Reapers are always sure.
I'll take your word for it. Cover your tracks and get the hell out of there. They can't know we were here. Yet.
Understood. Now the real war begins.
Excitement continues to build as city centers across the globe prepare for the 20th anniversary of Unification Day.
Thousands line up at the site of the Great Accord, celebrating the formation of the Advent Coalition.
Keeping with their promise to humanity, 12 new gene therapy clinics will be opening in select cities by the end of the new year.
Despite the attempted attack by fringe elements, operations at the new facility in Paris thankfully remain unaffected.
In response to the unprovoked intrusion on the eve of our most beloved celebration, the speaker reaches out to us.
A small number of dissidents again repeat the mistakes of the old world.
Striking as we celebrate a benevolent savior who time and again offers only friendship and compassion.
Yet these trivial actions could never break the bond between humanity and the Elders.
Peacekeeping forces have already made several preemptive arrests of known collaborators. Advent again assures all citizens that today's celebrations will continue as planned.
Perfect.
The Advent administration reminds you to report all suspicious activity to your nearest peacekeeper. Only together can we build a better tomorrow.
Approaching position. You were right. They've definitely got their hands full today.
Stay focused. Prep gate crasher. 60 seconds.
Loud and clear. Okay, Gatecrasher. Your turn.
Advent forces are swarming to the blast point. We need to move on the package before they figure out what we're up to. First things first. You need to get out of sight. Grab some cover near that low wall.
Copy that. Moving up.
All right, fantastic. So now we're actually in a combat scenario after that cutscene. So, like I said at the beginning of the guide, I'm not going to do any spoiler stuff, and that includes the story. I'm not going to explain or spoil the story in any capacity for you. XCOM is a game about aliens coming to Earth, attacking Earth, infiltrating Earth, and in the first XCOM, you don't even need to have played that game necessarily to really understand what's going on. And in fact, they changed the ending of the game to kind of fit with the lore of this game. So a lot of the end of the original XCOM story has been retconned. Now, when I say the original XCOM, I do mean the previous incantation of the XCOM reboot. So I'm old enough to have played the original XCOM and XCOM Terror from the Deep games when they came out, and those were some of my those games blew my mind. They were my first foray into squad-based, tactical, turn-based kind of games, and I loved them. I had a blast with the original XCOM. I love the play loop of researching, building your base, getting better technology, and these games do a fantastic job of capturing that essence, but they spin it dramatically with a lot of the choices that they make in combat. If you're interested, if you love the original old school XCOM games and you want games that are like that more closely in spirit, Xenonauts 1 and 2 are great iterations of the original old school XCOM formula. Anyway, here we are in combat. I should also say, as we begin, I'm not playing with any mods. I'm playing vanilla because I figure most people might be playing on console, or you're just booting up for the first time. You have no mods. All you have is War of the Chosen. So here we are in the combat screen. And you see here, I've got this party member selected with the blue square beneath their feet. And it shows us a variety of things on the screen that I'm going to explain. Number one, the blue border around this large area that you can see moving across the screen is the range of this character's movement. So anywhere within this blue line that you can see moving around, almost like in a square, but it's a little bit irregular, is how far this particular person can move on their turn. I am moving the camera around with WASD, so you can kind of scroll around and see the camera. You can change the elevation with the mouse wheel. Okay, you can rotate the camera with Q and E. And what they want us to do is move this guy to this spot with the yellow outline, and they're saying move here with right click. And the tooltip says select the highlighted position and right click to move this soldier, and that's in the kind of bottom right. Now, what else do we see on the screen? Number one, in the bottom left, you'll see this person who has selected this soldier's name. This is Peter Osei. And in the bottom right, you'll see what weapon they're equipped with, how much ammunition they have with that weapon. So this is a fully loaded weapon. It has 4 rounds before I need to reload. In the center of the heads-up display, or HUD, you're going to see that I have 2 options, 1 and 2. Now, these really aren't active right now because we're in the tutorial, but basically, number 1 is fire, and number 2, the eyeball, means to go on Overwatch. And that is basically, you will end your turn, and if you see any enemies on the enemy turn, you will try to take a shot at them if they're in your field of view and you have a clear shot. What does that mean, end of turn? This is a turn-based game. So in XCOM, your team gets to go, and then you end the turn, and the enemy gets to go, and you proceed like that, taking turns. So on our turn, the enemy can't go unless they have a retaliation or something. We get to go. And right now, it's just a team of 2, but we'll have a bigger squad when we get further into the game. This is just a tutorial explaining the controls to us. In the upper right, you're going to see a bunch of smaller icons. There's a helicopter, which is the evacuate icon. There's the X, which means like end the turn, which you can also push the N key on the keyboard. You can go cycle through your soldiers by pushing tab to go through clockwise, or previous to go through with left shift. And then you can rotate the camera also using these buttons, or Q and E like I talked about. So that explains everything on the screen that we see at the moment and all of our options. For moving the camera, I'm just going to right click over here. And you can see when my character moves, okay, he goes up to this spot and it says unit flag. The unit flag shows the selected soldier's health and actions remaining. Soldiers get 2 actions per turn. Osai has 1 action remaining, or Osei. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And that is indicated by the information around the character, which is the one part of the UI I haven't explained yet, because here they are explaining. So you'll see these right arrows underneath your character's health bar. These are your actions, and we just used an action by moving. I'm just going to click confirm to close this box.
But I'm exposed here.
It's better than nothing. But see if you can't find a safer position further out.
Looks like full cover ahead. Moving out.
So what they're explaining right now is movement and cover. So movement and cover explain a huge component of the game, which is that you get a large tactical advantage defensively by being in cover. So in this position, you can see that like the bench is partially covering this soldier and he gets partial cover. So the shield is half full, meaning you get half cover by being here. But if I move over here, you see how when I mouse over this square, there's a shield that's full. That is a full cover position, or high cover. That means I will get full cover defensive bonus against an enemy attack, and that's the most defensive position I can have. So if I move here, I will be very, very hard to hit indeed. I'll run over here.
Crasher 2, stay close. Keep pace with Crasher 1.
Okay. So now Crasher 2 is up, and it's our turn to go. Alright, so I'm going to move myself all the way over here.
Double time.
And what that means when she said double time...
We're gonna have to go through them. Stay out of sight until we're ready to strike.
Copy that.
Keep to the shadows until you're absolutely set. We'll only get 1 shot at this.
In the shadows.
So let me finish my thought before we talk about concealment. When she said double time, that means she's using both of her actions at the same time to move. If you move within the blue outline that we talked about, that is 1 action. But if you go further to the yellow outline, that means you are using both of your actions for moving. Even if you don't move to the full extent of your move, if your move goes beyond the blue border and into the yellow, you're going to use both of your actions and be able to do nothing. So you might want to attack, which takes an action. So make sure you're only moving within the first blue outline to save yourself an action for attacking. Now we are talking about concealment. It says most missions start with the squad in concealment. Use concealment to set up ambushes. If any of your soldiers are spotted, all of your soldiers lose the benefits of concealment. So this is true. There's varying mission types in this game, so sometimes you don't have concealment, but most of the time you do. And what this means is you are kind of stealthy, and this is also encapsulating a big part of the game. Cover-based combat was huge in the first game, but concealment really wasn't. In this game, your group is more of a covert operation. You don't have the full support of the government. Things are much more dire than they were in the first XCOM, so you have to use shadow tactics to your advantage to take it, any kind of edge that you can get in combat. So a lot of the time you will start with concealment, which allows you to sneak up and get a good strategic position before you engage the combat. And this is a huge benefit that you don't want to waste. So try to stay in concealment until you're absolutely ready to start the fight, unless it's a mission where you just don't get concealment. So we're going to go confirm. And they're saying they want us to move all the way up here. Enemies are not aware of your soldiers while you're concealed, which is true. Use concealment to advance and set up ambushes, which is what we're going to do. Now, in the top center of the HUD, you're going to see that there's this like shadowy blue face motif icon that tells us we're in concealment mode. And then also by the character information panel right here, it gives us a bunch of great information which tells us, hey, we're in concealment. So right by the health bar, you can see that we are in concealment. That icon is there. We've got both actions. We're in full cover. That's also displayed right here. And then we have a new action, which is hunkered down, which you can only do if you're in cover. Now, we're not going to do this. The game wants us to move. But this is the even better defensive position. So you can be in full cover, and then you can like hunker down to increase your defense by 30 and your dodge by 50 to make yourself really, really hard to hit. Generally, you don't do this with your soldiers. It's best used with like civilians that you're controlling, but it's still really useful if the enemy is preparing some kind of wild attack or you have a soldier at low health that you want to try to save. So they want us to move all the way up here. Now, you might think, well, what if we get spotted? XCOM does a great job of displaying the squares that are in line of sight of the enemy so you know where to move and not to move. Now, those will change based on the enemy's changing position on their turn, but you still get a really good idea. So I'm going to move this character all the way up here with right click, double move. You saw the yellow box, meaning I'm using both actions.
Don't get too close. They'll be spotted for sure and we'll lose our advantage.
All right, there's the baddies. Okay, so now you can see all of these red squares. It says nearby enemies will spot a soldier that moves too close. The tiles that are marked with a red highlight. So all of these red squares with an eyeball mean, like, if I move my soldier and finish the turn in that square, they're going to see me. So I'm going to actually just move over here, and we're still concealed. We're very, very close to them, but they can't see us right now.
We have the numbers, but we've got surprise on our side. Hopefully that's enough.
Remind me to thank the old man.
You and me both.
Okay, so...
We're not out of the woods yet. We need to take out those remaining soldiers.
I've got the trap on them. Permission to engage.
Do it.
Okay, so you see we created a version. The Advent soldier that was in red, like the superior officer, has left to go investigate, and now we just have some grunts. They're on high alert because of what happened, but they don't know that we're here. This is a lot of what we have to do, is this cloak and dagger stuff, because as they explain, we are severely outnumbered by the Advent, and they have, more firepower, more troops, and so we have to, be a little sneaky to compensate. So at this point, we can press enter or left click on an action button down here to enter the tactical combat UI. And right now you see it's flashing on number 1, which is fire our weapon. So you can click on fire weapon, or you can just push 1 on your keyboard. And by the way, I'm playing using mouse and keyboard. This is on all consoles pretty much. It's even on the Switch, I believe. So you can be using a controller. Your key bindings will be different, but the effects will be the same. So once you select to attack, you get into this tactical combat mode, and it kind of goes where now the heads-up display has changed. At the bottom center of the screen, I am displayed with all sorts of new information. Take your time and read all of this information because it will make your life so much better as you're playing the game. You will know critical pieces of information that you require to make the best decisions. So, for example, right now I am targeting this soldier, and if I want to fire at this guy, I have a 68% chance to hit. That means I have a 68% chance to hit on this target that I have selected. Above this target, they also have their own character panel information, which shows how much health they have. They have 3 bars of health. My weapon in the bottom center, you can see it does 3 to 5 damage. So this guy has no armor. He has no cover, which is, the open shield right there. And if I hit him, he's dead because at minimum, I'm going to do 3 damage. So I do a range of damage, but even my minimum damage kills this guy. So I have a 68% chance to just kill this guy outright. Now, how is that calculation arrived at? In the left, okay, there's a panel that you can collapse or hide. Yours might be hidden. In the bottom left of the center panel on the heads-up display, you'll see the hit and the hit percent. But if you click on this arrow, it will expand this panel, if it's not already expanded, to show you the calculation. So I have 65% aim, so that's a calculation based on this soldier's aiming skill and ability. And then I am within good range on my weapon, so I get a slight bump up here. There are no deductions because this guy has no cover. Now on the right, you can see here's my damage range. I have 3 to 5 damage. Now I have a 40% crit chance because I'm flanking the target, all right? So because I'm flanking, I get this huge benefit. And flanking in this situation is brought about because I am firing from concealment. They don't know where I am. Now I can click on above fire weapon. You see how there are these 4 heads. These are the 4 targets over here. So I can click on another head to change who I'm targeting. I can also push tab to cycle between the available targets, and you see that my percentage chance to hit goes up and down depending on who I am targeting. So the game has defaultly selected this guy who is closest, and they are the easiest for me to hit. So if I'm happy with this, I will just click fire weapon. Now you can push escape to just get out of this screen if you want to do something else instead. But for now, we do want to fire from this position. So I'm going to, this is a nice position. I've got cover. I'm, close enough. So I'm going to push 1, and I'm going to fire weapon by pushing enter on the keyboard or just clicking fire weapon. So you can see we hit. Now, what has happened? We lost concealment because they are now aware of us. So once that happens, the enemy gets a chance to react. They're not going to fire at us, but they are going to move into cover. So the entire squad loses concealment when any soldier attacks an enemy. You break windows, or you kick down an open door, or a soldier is flanked or steps on a detection tile. So even if you pass through a detection tile and don't end your turn there, you can lose your concealment. So avoid all of these things to stay concealed.
They can see you now. How about you all shoot first and celebrate later? No problem.
All right. So now it's Anna's turn, and concealment doesn't matter. So once concealment has been broken, the red tiles disappear because they see us. So now the game is asking us to move up and get cover behind this police car or this advent car to get closer so we can shoot one of the targets. So I will. So I'm going to move her here, right click.
I appreciate the bravery, but you're dangerously close right now. Be careful.
And now she's super close, and I'm going to push 1, and I can target either of these. Now this guy has full cover, so you can see because of his high cover, he is getting a 40% reduction to hit. And that guy also has high cover, but if I push tab to cycle, this guy has low cover, which gives him a 20% chance, but we're so close and we have a good angle that we are still reasonably able to hit this target. So I'm going to click fire weapon. And they're dead. They even dropped some loot. They took a shot at us. It's their turn now. So they're going to move and attack just like us. They're getting into cover. They're going to take a shot, and she's totally exposed. And she's dead.
No, Crasher 2 is down. She's gone.
Damn it! You can't take risks like that. Watch your flanks.
So that's how you want to play it. Okay.
Okay. So, let me tell you, as you're playing along and you're playing the tutorial, that is a engineered death. You cannot save that character. The lesson the game is teaching you there is don't expose yourself. She moved into a position that was not safe. It was safe from these two units, but it's only safe if they're not moving. But this unit moved to flank, and flanking means there is no cover. You move to the side, so they're completely exposed. So this unit moved over here and flanked us and easily hit us. Their weapons do a ton of damage, so she has no armor and she got absolutely trashed. So the game is teaching you, you need to be very careful with where you move. Now this guy can move here because all of the other characters are on this side of the map, and there's nobody that can come out from behind me, so this is a safer position to be in. By the way, let me explain, this character, or this bad guy, dropped some loot. If an enemy drops an item, you'll see it's kind of like highlighted, this clip it looks like. There will be a yellow 3x3 square around their corpse, and if you move one of your characters to that square within the countdown timer, this is 2 turns, so I have 2 turns to get over there and claim this loot. It's a mechanic that the game has instilled to like incentivize moving around quickly. I will tell you this, it's up to you. It's risk it for the biscuit. I generally don't go for that loot, even though it can be very good, if it means risking my character's life. I prioritize keeping my people alive. So I treat getting loot as a nice benefit, but a lot of the times you might have to just let it pass because it's not in a safe zone, or it's going to take too much time to go get it and you're on a timed mission. So we'll look at that more when it comes up. But like right now, I'm not going to double move this guy to this square. I could just to get the loot, but then he would be completely exposed. This guy would kill us. So instead, we're just going to move right here. I'm going to right click.
Nice work. Press the advantage before they get around you.
Now it says attacking a flanked unit ignores its defensive bonus, and there's a high chance to score a crit. Do not let enemies flank you, which is what happened right there. She might have actually been crit. Their weapon might not be that powerful. It did 7 damage, but because she was flanked, she got wrecked. So I'm going to push 1 to fire, and we have an 82% chance to hit this guy because we're flanking, and I'm going to push enter to fire. And we didn't crit, we just did the regular 3 damage. Now this guy's moved into cover, but bam. The commander.
She's calling reinforcements. Stop that.
Take that.
Transmission.
Central, reporting in.
You're late. What have you been doing down there?
Taking in the sights.
Look at that.
What the hell are these things?
Exactly.
At least there used to be. Human hybrid soldiers. Advent's reward for obedience and service.
We've all heard rumors. I just never believed it was true.
No one wanted to. But we find what we're looking for today. I promise you that's gonna change. Let's move.
Looks like that transmission went through. You have an Advent transport closing on your position.
You heard her. Cover the left side.
That's not the commander, that's Central. He is the beautiful man with the sweater, and he is from the previous XCOM game. If you played that, you might recognize him. But again, there's no knowledge of any XCOM games required to enjoy this fantastic tactical RPG. Now, what they're telling us now is that we need to move, and we need to move quickly. XCOM 2 really puts an emphasis on movement, moving around, running away, getting in position, to double down on how bad we are doing as a group that are opposing Advent. So we have learned that these soldiers that we're fighting are actually like human-alien hybrids. Now, they want us to move where? Well, now we can fully move around the whole map to get a sense of what we need to do. We need to go into the facility, obviously, and try to recover this specimen in this room that we saw from the cutscene with the Outrider. But what we want to do, I'm going to do anyway, is I have time now. I'm just going to go get this item. Oh, they want me to move here. Darn. Okay, I got to move over here.
Keep your eyes peeled. Fire on anything that moves.
Okay. All right, I can't get it. So, never mind. I'm locked to the tutorial. If it was me, I would go get that, but they want me to do this. So they want me to move here and get myself into half cover, and they want to show us Overwatch. So it says, soldiers in Overwatch will shoot the first enemy they see moving. Activate Overwatch now to prepare for the reinforcements. So the reinforcements are coming, and we need to get ready. So we're going to go into Overwatch, which is the eyeball button number 2 that I told you about before. It is the bread and butter of this game in terms of moving slowly and taking tactical advantage when you can. In the first XCOM, Overwatch was king. This game really tries to get you out of Overwatch traps, relying on them as much anyway, because it puts a timer on many of the missions. But this mission, we don't have a clock. If there is a clock on the mission, it'll be in the upper right. And it'll tell you have to, win or evacuate by this number of turns. So I'm going to push 2, and I'm going to go into Overwatch. You'll see in the bottom center of the heads-up display, it will bring up a more detailed description of the action that you're going to take. Fire on the first enemy that moves within your line of sight. And I'm going to push 2 and enter. And actually, I'm going to click on this. Okay, fine.
The main entrance is clear.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We need to move on the package.
So this guy's done, and it's time to now take control of the new units. So we've got to move central, and we get to move him wherever we want. Oh, no, we don't. They want us to bust through, to go right here. So, first of all, I'm sure you've noticed by now the amazing slow-motion sequences where you are firing or being fired upon. The cinematic firing really brings the turn-based combat to life. It's one of the kind of hilarious parts of this game. And this is another one, which is breaking through windows. So watch this. I'm going to right-click right here. And he's just going to jump through the glass and go all the way in. Menace 3 is ready to go.
Check that body for salvageable gear.
Oh, okay, cool.
Anything we can get at this point. Better move fast, though. I've heard rumors Advent rigs their stuff to self-destruct.
So she wants us to actually go in and get the item. Sweet. I wanted to get it with him, but they're going to let us get it. So it says soldiers automatically collect dropped items when they end a move inside the yellow loot radius. So if I end a move right here in the center, like they say, we pick up, she finds it, and we got a scope, so she got it. And then now, Jane Kelly is going to move right over here. Here come the reinforcements. Oh my god. The birds were killed. Look how big this ship is. It lands right up on us. This is a problem. Okay.
Reinforcements just hit the ground.
They're getting nervous. Now I know we're in the right place.
Alright. So the commander is back there, and now it's Overwatch time. So we actually killed one, doing max damage on Overwatch before...
Back to our position.
Just go. I'll try to stall him here.
Okay. So what happened was they landed, we were in Overwatch, and while they're moving, they're open, so they have no armor benefit, and we get to take that shot. And now, you can see, like, if I wanted to fire on them, they're behind cover, and it's not going to be easy to hit. Look at how many more hit points the officer has. He has 6 hit points. Now, it's worth mentioning at this point, you see how there are 5 squares flashing right here? That is not how much damage I will do. That is the maximum damage that I could do. I can do less than that because I only do 3 to 5 damage. So don't think, oh, I'm going to definitely do this much damage. Remember, there is variability in this game. It's notorious for it. XCOM is notorious for I have a 98% chance to hit and I missed kind of variability. So that's XCOM, baby. Let's just get used to it. And they want us to fall back to this position. So I'm going to move back here. And he's just kind of covering our defense. I'm going to take a shot. I have a 49% chance here and a 48% chance here. I'm going to actually take this shot, even though it's not good. Or I could go on Overwatch, but Overwatch really isn't going to do much because they're in cover and they're going to stay where they are probably and not move. So Overwatch triggers if they move, but if they stay where they are, it's not going to do anything. So I'm going to try to fire at this guy because if I actually did hit, he would be killed, or they would be killed. And, oh, I'm sorry. Do they want me to move? What do you want me to do here? Oh, they want me to fire at the... Okay, I don't have the choice. I have to fire at this guy. All right, so only in this tutorial, you have to do exactly what they want. So I wouldn't normally take this shot, even though it's a 1% chance better to hit. I can't kill this guy. I'd rather eliminate a target outright if possible, but fine, they want me to fire here. I missed. Kelly's going for the door. All right, so we're going to move over here next to the doorway. The door is marked with this icon, so I'm going to move here with her. And they explain.
Right through the door's security protocols. They were never expecting anyone to get this close.
So all soldiers can hack certain computers, lock doors, and some other objects to gain access. There are contextual buttons that will appear on the bottom center of the heads-up display, like this hack button. This is going to tell us that we can now try to open the door right here. And I'm going to hack this door. If it says this, then it's a 100% chance. So here's what we can do. Now you get into the hacking minigame. In the hacking minigame, it will tell you have a 100% chance to unlock this door. Now, I said it's a 100% chance. It's a 100% chance for this opportunity, but it's not always going to be a 100% chance when you're in the field. It'll tell you what your chance is, and it depends on, factors. You can improve your chances with certain technology and skills and things. But anyway, for this door, it's easy, so it's a 100% chance. But you can also try for one of these more difficult rewards. And if you roll really well, you get what you see here. So if we were to roll, above this 6% chance to hit, like so, a 94 or above out of 100, then we would get disguise signals, which would put us into concealment. Or I could go for override, which is only a 2% chance, which gives us complete immunity from the next 2 attacks. I'm going to go for this to try to save the soldier's life outside, and I'm going to click begin hack. Now you can see, like I said, there are skills involved. Jane Kelly has a tech score of 5. The tech score of the door is 60. It's a secure door, which makes these rewards, harder to get, but we can open it pretty easily. So I'm going to click begin hack, and you see we roll a number. And we got right here. We unlock the door, but we don't get the bonus effect. Now notice how those 2 options said fail, no effect. But sometimes if you want to go for those rewards, it'll be like fail and there is a negative effect. And you should factor that into your decision making on risk reward if you want to do that. We just need to move Central right here.
Secure the package.
Let's hope our intel was good.
This is the place.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Looks like there's an access panel attached. If you got me a better look, I might be...
Next time.
That's right. Next time.
Let's get out of here.
So now we need to pick up this soldier and escape. Soldiers can carry unconscious, dead, and bleeding out units. This allows the soldier to retrieve a fallen comrade. So I'm going to, now this contextual button appears in the bottom center of the heads-up display, carry unit. I'm just going to click 3, and I'm going to click carry unit, and we'll pick this guy up.
The entire Advent security grid just lit up. Firebrand is holding nearby for evac, but it's now or never, Central.
Understood. We're on the move.
So everybody's here. They're all coming to kill us. Osai is dead. Wiped out.
No! Central, Crasher 1 is down. You have to get out of there.
We need another exit. Now!
Alright. So, it's Jane Kelly's time to shine. In the bottom center of the heads-up display, you'll see that there are 2 targets marked by the red hooded icons, and they're the ones out here. These are just targets that we can see. There could be more, but right now these are the ones that we can see and have a shot on. But we're not going to try to fight them. We're going to move where they want us to move, which is over here.
Got it covered.
So she's going to run here, and now they're explaining to us grenades. Grenades are not as lethal as firearms, but can damage multiple units and destroy cover and walls. Here's the other thing they don't tell you about grenades and why grenades are the best thing ever. They can't miss. So if you hit an enemy with a grenade, it automatically hits. So even though it's less damage, it's area of effect, and you know that if you get the grenade there, it's going to hurt them. So they're super useful. I'm going to throw a grenade right here, but you can also use it to damage the environment. And we're just going to throw it on this tile. Now, you'll notice that the bubble looks like it's affecting more squares, but you have to pay attention to the squares on the ground to see what will actually be hit by the grenade, not just the dome spread of the grenade graphic. Look at the bottom, look at the grid, and you see how the wall is flashing red? That means my grenade will hit it. If I move it away, it's not being hit. But as soon as I get it next to it and it becomes red, then we're good. I'm going to throw it right there. Boom. We're through.
Fire in the hole.
Works for me.
So now they want Central to move all the way. Soldiers cannot attack while carrying another unit, but can still take cover and move at full speed. So if I mouse over, my character, well, I'm sorry, not mouse over, just I'm highlighting with my mouse. You see the 2 down chevrons on the character, which means I'm carrying somebody. And if I mouse over in the bottom left panel where it says Central John Bradford, it says penalties, and you can see what these debuffs are. This means I'm carrying a squad mate, and all I can do is move. But I can double move to this point. I'm going to right click it with John, and we're going to run.
Almost there. Stay focused.
They're right behind us.
So they actually are firing at us after we've moved. They're coming in. Oh my god. Central got hit. This is not going well. That one hurt a little. Yeah, it almost killed you. That guy is tough. Alright. So now we need to call for an extraction, which is the button we talked about much earlier in the video. So we're going to push P or click on the icon to place an evac zone and confirm it with left click. So I'm I'm going to click on this in the upper left, and I'm going to put it exactly where they want, which is the kind of blue dashed square here. And you'll see the flares drop down, and now that zone is marking. All we have to do is end our turn with our soldiers in that square, and they will, like, rappel up to the helicopter and get out. I'm going to run here.
We're coming home.
And you see, I end the turn there. A unit standing within the evac can activate the evac ability to safely extract from combat. So, once we're in there, you end the turn, but you actually have to click this button to finish it. I forgot. I thought it was automatic. No, we have to push this to do it. And evac. And this unit is going... Now, she's going out herself, but normally it doesn't work like this. Normally, every soldier has to be in that zone to escape safely. But here we made it. And... what is that? Okay, something teleported in to take a look at the escaped pod.
Carefully! There's potentially decades of atrophy to contend with.
Wish we had more time.
I don't disagree.
But as it stands now, we risk losing the patient if we don't begin the removal procedure immediately.
We're ready.
Good. Then let's get on with it.
Remarkable.
Just like 20 years ago. We were still calling it a war back then. We had no idea what was coming.
Response from the cerebral cortex. Good. Prepping for cranial intrusion. I've managed to identify the connection, preparing to make final incision.
These readings are getting really erratic.
Of course they are. These implants were never designed to be removed. We are risking severe...
No plan B here, people. Do it.
No signal.
Pupillary response normal. Vital stabilizing. Procedure complete.
Told them it would take more than that to keep you down. Welcome back, Commander.
We're the commander. That's right.
Glad to see you're finally coming out of it. Don't envy the headache you must have, though. Still, can't fault Dr. Tigan. Especially as no one's even attempted something like this before. Easy. We're still not entirely sure what they did to you. That chip was buried halfway into your skull. Lost a lot of good soldiers looking for you over the years. Almost gave up hope you were still out there. Acted on the intel as soon as I got word. Not sure what you remember, but a lot's changed. Did the best I could, but the last 20 years have been tough without you. You feel like catching up. Shen has the archive up and running on your terminal. Otherwise, I'd go see Dr. Tigan when you're ready. There's some things you should know. He'll be better at explaining them than me. It's damn good to have you back, Commander.
Good to be back, Central. All right. So...
Commander, to the research labs.
Oh, they want us to go to research labs. Okay, so now we're in the base, which is a new kind of screen, and this is the commander's quarters. Pretty nice digs. In case it wasn't obvious from what we just saw right there, what happened is this game takes place 20 years after the original XCOM reboot, and they have saved the main character from that game, who was believed to be lost and is now coming back to potentially help turn the tide in the war against the aliens. Now, once you get into the base screen, the panel changes in the bottom center of the heads-up display, and we can go to the research bay, and that's where they want us to go. The octagon, how about I say this correctly? The hexagon with the exclamation point tells us that's where the quest is asking us to go, so we're going to click on that.
Impressive, isn't it? Capable of generating immense power, yet completely harmless to human life. If only the same could be said for the rest of the aliens' technology. Commander. Dr. Richard Tigan, Chief Science Officer. I am responsible for the entirety of our research here, as well as the procedure you so recently underwent. Welcome to my lab, such as it is. I'm not sure what Central may have told you, but we found something while removing you from the alien stasis suit. A device implanted directly in your occipital lobe. Had I access to the equipment available to me during my tenure at Advent, I would already know the precise nature of its function. However, given time and your approval, of course, Commander, I assure you, I will find out. Which brings to light an additional point. Though aspects of this facility are indeed impressive, I am but one man. Were you to direct additional support personnel and resources to me, I could substantially improve the speed of all our research. Farewell, Commander. On your order, Commander. I will begin researching the Advent chip for possible insights as to its function.
Okay, so now we got a brief tutorial into combat, but we're going to have to go much deeper into that in subsequent episodes. This is going to be a guide series. This game is complicated. There's a lot to talk about, and so we're going to have to do this episodically so that we can, in a full, thorough manner, really explore what this game throws at you so I can best explain it. We saw combat, which is the bulk of the game, but when you're done with combat, you come back to your base and you make upgrades. You upgrade your base itself, you do research, which allows you to then go to engineering and produce more advanced technologies, which you can equip your soldiers with to make you stronger in your fight against the aliens. So we capture materials on site, alien technology, we bring it back here, we research it, we discover things, we then reverse engineer it, make that technology, make new technology. We level up our troops here, we recruit more troops here, we do all sorts of other upgrades, covert missions, operations from this base. And it's different than the previous game's base and more complicated, and we'll have to talk about that, but this is very similar. Right now, we're at the research screen, and from the research screen, in the research bay, at our base, we can choose between different research options. Now, they want us to research alien biotech right now, which we will, but we could also research modular weapons, hybrid materials, and experimental weapons. And these will give you the opportunity to fabricate better technologies, like weapons gives us new weapons that we could potentially build. Hybrid materials could help us make better armor. Experimental weapons gives us some specialty consumables or unique items to use. But right now, all we can do is alien biotech. Now, at the top, it tells us that we have 0 scientists. We just have Dr. Tigan here. That's it. But as we get more people that we can allocate, we can find more scientists, we can find more engineers, we can make this process more efficient, given time and resources. But right now, we're just going to click on the research button for alien biotech. So you'll see right here, there's just a green research button. I'm going to click on it.
I'll see that work begins immediately, Commander. I'll contact you when I have a full report available.
Okay, thank you so much.
Keep Tigan busy for a while. In the meantime, you might want to head down to the Armory.
So now what has happened is we've zoomed out.
Commander, to the Armory.
Okay, on the base, and you have a more familiar base cutaway screen that we might have seen in the first XCOM, and you can actually click on the room that's glowing. You can move the base camera around by using WASD or just dragging your mouse to the edge of the screen. You can kind of go around, and you'll notice immediately that our base is like a mobile base. It's something that we can move around. It's sitting up by a ruined city in the background, but it's not just located in one place like it was in the previous XCOM. We have to be on the move because we would get detected and destroyed otherwise. So I can click on the bottom center to go to the Armory, or I can just click up here. And when I mouse over the Armory, it says soldiers available 13. That's how many troops I have. I have 0 wounded troops and 0 unavailable troops.
Commander, to the Armory.
Unavailable troops means like they're on another mission or something like that. I'm going to click on this.
Commander, Jane Kelly was instrumental in the op to get you back. She earned enough experience for a promotion. We should take care of that now.
So what they're telling us is after missions, the units that survive get experience, and you will often be able to upgrade them by promoting them, and this is the tutorial on doing that. So again, there's a lot of information here, but the game does a pretty reasonable job of guiding you into it. We go to the Armory to look at our soldiers, and at least for right now, that's what we're doing. And on her screen on the left, there is a column that has options where you can go crazy. Now, right now, all they want us to do is promote it, but I gotta tell you what, customize is one of the best things about this game. You could completely customize their look from top to bottom. Their hair, their face, their armor, the coloring. It is wild and hilarious what you can do. So, as you can see, I have a Let's Play of this game, and I went real hard into the customizing of our soldiers and gave us a unique yellow and red plaid theme to all of our gear that's probably the most offensive thing that the eyeballs can see. It's hilarious. And you can change their loadout, which affects like what guns and armor they have, what kind of items they're taking into battle. Combat sims, which we'll get into later. Weapon upgrades like the scope that we found, for example. Photo booth allows you to make propaganda posters with this soldier. And soldier bonds are something like, if you've ever played Fire Emblem, that's kind of new to this game from the previous one, where people develop relationships with each other when they go on missions with each other, and they can actually foster those bonds, and they get really powerful in combat, like when they can give their ally or their buddy like an extra action or something like that in combat. And you can actually dismiss them outright if you want to, but I never really do this because we kind of go through soldiers a lot here. So I'm going to promote the soldier.
The Ranger serves as our primary reconnaissance unit, capable of moving independently in concealment while engaging enemies at close range.
So we've promoted her from just a standard soldier to be a ranger. And when she becomes a ranger, she now gets a sword that she takes into combat. Rangers are amazing because, well, they get swords, and they can do melee combat, and they can, move pretty well in combat. There's several different types of soldiers that we can get.
Our troops will only get stronger as they gain experience.
And Jane is just the one that we have upgraded for the moment. Now they want us to go to the bridge, which is right here.
I heard you, Shen. When we get the thing, you'll be the first to know.
Unauthorized presence detected.
Commander, give me a second. Execute Echelon Protocol.
Attention. Senior Command Exchange confirmed.
I had wanted that to be a little more ceremonious, but we've got something.
A local resistance cell just located this hybrid magnetic power converter that Shen's been pushing us to find. They tracked the device to a nearby Advent convoy and are attempting to take it down. If we can bring this converter back in one piece, we might actually get this place up and running and give the aliens a real war for a change. A squad is prepped and ready to launch on your order, Commander. Just give the word.
All right. So now it's time for us to go into a full-scale battle with a squad of 4. We've got Kelly right here, who is a squaddie. This is like she's promoted, and she's the only one with any rank. Everybody else is a rookie, so they just have generic loadouts. They start with a grenade and an assault rifle, and they're ready to go. In the upper left, you could see this is called Operation Diamond Blade. They just generate a random name for the mission. Yours will be different, probably. And the difficulty level is easy, which gives me good hope. From here, you can change their loadout by clicking on Edit to change like what gun or items they have, but we don't have anything to cycle with, so we're just going to keep it as is. You can also remove them and bring in a different soldier if you wish. These buttons down below make utility items, weapons, and armor available. What this does is if you click it is everybody who is not selected in the current squad, it takes off all of their items, weapons, or armor, depending on what you click on, and makes it available so then when you go to loadout, you can put the best stuff on your people. It's just a nice, convenient thing. When you're ready to go, you click Launch Mission. However, this first episode of our tutorial series has already gotten pretty long, and we're going to do the mission as a separate episode next. So stay tuned for the next episode in this XCOM 2 War of the Chosen Complete Beginner's Guide, and we will talk through how to do an actual combat where they take the rails off more thoroughly and give us a squad of 4 instead of just 2.
Communications with resistance forces in the area have gone dark, which can only mean one thing. These people sacrificed everything to give us this shot. We need to recover that converter at all costs.
So you just click anywhere to launch the mission once it's ready to go, and our people are going to rappel in.
Commander, getting a fix on the device, but it looks like it may have been damaged during the fight. Energy readings are going crazy. I'm guessing we don't have much time before it explodes. Shen's working on a way to stabilize that thing, provided we can get close enough to access its core. Stay in the shadows until we can get a better read on the situation.
Okay, so you can see this is a mission where we only have 8 turns to go, and it's a countdown. So like I said, it's going to be in the upper right. It'll tell us we have to move quickly, so we don't have the luxury of taking our time. So we are in concealment. We have the advantage of surprise, and you can move the camera around and go all the way. You could see there's this hexagon with the kind of box with the refresh signal around. That's the item that we need to get to, so that's the direction we want to move. And everybody, we're going to have to get into that in the next episode of this guide series, because the first episode's gone on very long time here, and I want to keep them in a manageable length. This is going to be a complete beginner's guide series to XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, because this is a very complicated game. There's a lot to go over, and I want to do it in a thorough and smooth manner, so we're going to do this as a series. So in the next episode, we will actually go into this combat where we have a full squad of 4, or full for now anyway, of 4 soldiers, and they're going to take the rails off and let us make some more decisions in combat, and we're going to learn even more about how to play this game. Everyone, I hope you found this series, first episode, to be useful and fun. Let me know if you have any questions about the game in the comments below, and I'd love to help you out. If you are somebody who is an XCOM veteran and you want to give comments and feedback and help to new players, that is fantastic. But I please ask that you do so in a way that is not spoilery for new players, that doesn't overwhelm them with details or things that would reveal anything about the game that we haven't gotten to yet, so that they can figure things out for themselves. And if you do it in that spirit, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll check you in the next episode. Take care.